So I've been asked a lot recently about my own personal size ups and how I make them in my life and where kind of this concept came up for this podcast and just, I guess, some more things about me as well to talk about. So we're going to jump into some topics like that with these smaller, as the producers like to call them, Pip Talks, I suppose. And this first one it's really going to be something that I don't even know I was doing in my life personally prior to getting involved on a larger scale on social media, but was just refusing to be average. And I have to kind of preface that a little bit too when I say refusing to be average, because when I describe myself to people, I basically call myself an average person, just an average guy who refuses to be average. Because in reality, there's nothing wrong with average. There's nothing wrong with par, with being on point with everything, and that achievement of getting there and staying there when it comes to your goals and goal settings, which is definitely going to be a whole different Pip Talk than today. But I think with the whole point of saying that I refuse to be average, it's that end that I'm so happy with what I have, but I want more. And this topic and this thought, it plays itself out in so many aspects of our lives that we can compare it to everything. We can compare it to our personal lives, our family lives, our careers, when we're fitnessing for that matter, when we're really doing anything. It's great to have a goal and strive for it and obtain that goal, but what do we do next? And how do we get there? And how does that road kind of occur is a key thing to this refusing to be average. Because if you get there, you get to where you want to be, you get that promotion, you marry the person of your dreams, you have 2.5 kids, you have the house you've always wanted, well, where do you go next? And what happens to you in your life when you refuse to keep grasping for more? When you just say, listen, I got it, I got what I want, and I don't want to go any further. And I don't think that's something that people do consciously. I really don't think that they realize that. But sometimes they just stop. And you see it all the time in the emergency services field. Someone works so hard to get hired. I see people on social media all the time posting, oh my God, this has been 2.5 years of my life striving for this dream job and I got it. Well, you got it, that's great. But now what are you gonna do next to be better at it? I know for me personally, it was 5 years of taking tests and being everything I could be to try to get hired before I did get the job. And you see that. And then you see people, and this isn't just in emergency services, this is in all fields. They go to college, they get, the new thing now is it's not just getting a 4-year degree, it's I have to get a master's degree, I have to get a doctorate. Everybody gets a doctorate in something, but then you have that piece of paper, what do you do next? How do you continue on? And I heard someone speak once and they said they never want to hear from someone who claims to be an expert, because if they claim to be an expert in a topic, that means that they're not learning any more about that topic. And I really took that to heart, because I know for me, I am not an expert in anything, aside from maybe understanding how to make my hair go in a mohawk every day that I wake up. I may have had that one perfected. But you're constantly learning. You're constantly refusing to be average. And we have to be that way. It just doesn't end the day you get a diploma, or the day you get hired, or the day you get promoted. This concept of refusing to be average has to be present every day in your life, no matter what it is you're thinking about doing. And that has to be part of your, stand by, technical difficulties there as we're learning that, but it has to be part of your personal size up, right? Look, There you go. Totally forgot to turn my automatic light off for 5 minutes from not moving, and I didn't move a lot. It's this thing that we're always learning new things. Now, when we're learning these things, it's important to learn them and to remember them. And one of the ways that I do this self-size up with this, like, am I really, staying at par or learning from my mistakes, is I take notes like crazy. Your cell phone's not just for social media anymore. That little notepad in your cell phone, I have folders and folders, and one of them is entitled The Size Up. And now I'm gonna write, when doing videos in the garage, remember to turn the automatic timer off. And if that's something that, if you're watching these videos, video 4 or 5, I'll probably forget again. It's gonna be the dead honest truth with you, but if I haven't learned from that mistake, I am not doing what I need to do each day to refuse to just be average. And there's a little bit more to it too with that, is that it's gonna keep changing. Your average or your par, it's gonna go up and down. You have good days and bad. People constantly say like, oh my God, I've never seen you down before. And trust me, I'm down as much as I'm up when it comes to this whole roller coaster of life. Whether it be personally, professionally, however it's gonna be. But you have to dig yourself out of those holes. And I think one thing that I can say about me personally with my own size ups is I don't get myself too far down in the hole, because we see that too. And that's where that daily size up of you has to take place. And I don't care what it is that you're doing, whether you're waking up early and you're meditating, or you're journaling, or you're having a cup of coffee and staring in your backyard. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite times of the day, is that cup of coffee in the morning, where I'm just hanging out alone if no one else is awake, or I get even a minute of just quiet to think about what the day is going to be like and how I can get better today. And that's a huge part of it, is you have to take that time each day and see where that average line is and how you're going to try to go up from it. Because once you start to get down, it's very hard to get back up again, right? We have to get right back up again. And if you go into that kind of like spiral down, and you're just spiraling down, which it's not very hard to do on levels. Again, career, fitness, nutrition, personally, relationships, the spiral starts to go down. And as you're going down, instead of it just being one problem, it turns into 2, which turns into 3, which turns into 4. But if you're not looking back at yourself, and you're not looking at that line each and every day to say, what can I do today to be better than yesterday? What can I do now to just refuse to be average? You're never gonna be able to go in advance. And I talk to a lot of folks who are sending me messages daily, just telling me how their day went. And sometimes I respond back, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's like, okay, cool, man, you had a great day. What are you gonna do tomorrow to be better? Oh, wow, you had a really bad day today. Listen, you gotta find a positive in that bad, because if tomorrow's a bad day, the next one's just gonna be just as worse, and the next one is gonna be even worse than that. So you have to keep a constant effort to move forward. And no, it's not always easy, and I know there are people out there struggling with different issues that are harder to work on than just saying, hey, I'm gonna do this myself. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out to people for help. I do it myself. We all should be doing it. But it's that, again, refusal to be average that I really want to focus these last couple minutes of talking on, is that why can't you always strive to be a better version of yourself? What's wrong with that? Why can't we say, listen, this is great, but what can I do that's just a little bit better? That's going to make me or my situation or my family a little bit better. It could be the simplest things as some projects around the house, that are just gonna say, hey, we spruced this up a bit, it looks better, and I feel better. Or going to the store and buying a new pair of shoes or a new outfit. Or hitting the gym and doing a lift you haven't done in a really long time. Doing some kind of something you haven't done in a while. Go play soccer with your kids, or go for a bike ride, or take that trip that you weren't gonna do. It could be, again, as simple as something as buying something small or going on some big trip. But it's just saying that I'm not gonna stay par. And that's a lot with this show. That's a lot with the... Oh boy. It's a lot with the size up. That's 2 times. So it's set on the 5-minute timer. But that also is telling me that I wanted to keep these between 10 and 15 minutes, so I can't let it drop off again. Because it throws me off my game and what I was saying there too. Now I'm like, oh man, where was I just getting to? It's just one of those things about refusing to be average and trying to take it to that next step. And I think that's a big part of it. And with this show, this is something new for me, and this is a challenge. And even doing videos like this, I've never really done kind of a solo video about a topic that I've talked to a lot of people about personally on private levels. And I've talked about in classes to smaller groups, but now I'm really taking the show and putting myself out there. You know, I'm taking a risk, I'm putting some things out there, and I'm learning, because episode 1 is out now, and I want to thank everybody for listening to it. But 2 and 3 have been recorded, and I'm learning from each and every episode. And I'm finding that when I'm listening to other people on podcasts, I'm picking up things that they're doing that I'm like, man, that could make me better right there. That could make me better at being this host and being the guy kind of steering the conversation. So that's kind of one of the big keys here, is just be very happy with being average, but refuse to be average. Always strive for something better. Make that size up every day, and you're gonna start to see these changes coming down the pipe for you for sure. So feel free to reach out, whether it be on the IG at the_size_up. On the YouTube channel, you can comment below. You can reach out to me directly on IG Messenger, or you can follow me at 555Pip personally. Don't forget to check out my amazing sponsor, National Fire Radio, on IG and their podcast on all the channels, and our other new podcast that's out, Rush the Bus, talking all about EMS stuff, hacks and tips. They're right now, if you were to follow them, if we get this out quick, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff for getting nebulizers into ET tubes, which if you have no idea about paramedicine or medicine, you're like, what are you talking about, dude? But they are showing you a lot of really cool stuff. So that's going to be it. Let me know if you have any other topics you want me to kind of rant on here in these Pip Talks. If you have anyone you think would be a great guest on the Size Up as well, please feel free to reach out, man. We're looking for more guests. We're looking for more content. We're trying to grow this, and topics from you are really going to help me dive into how to make this whole thing all about us. So I'll catch up with you guys soon. Later.